Hey, what is going on YouTube? Hey, in this video, I wanted to introduce myself a little bit and tell you a little bit about why I became a financial coach and what a financial coach does, just so you can be a little more familiar with myself. Boy, where do I even start? It all started as soon as I came out of the womb. I'm just kidding. I graduated from New Mexico State in 2013 with a business degree. I decided, hey, I am going to go out into the world and just kill it as a business guru, and I have a whole nother story and a whole nother video on that. But boy, that whole dream and that whole desire and that whole passion ended up putting me into a lot of hot water. I was $1.2 million in debt at 23 years old. I had to go through a bankruptcy. We were still left over with $65,000 in debt, which we ended up paying off in a little over 2 years. And it was through this I hate to use the word traumatic just because a lot of people really go through some serious trauma, but it felt almost traumatic. Like, it was the point where I was became really unhealthy because of this debt that we took on and this just amount of pressure that we had through a bankruptcy and the legal process and all that unfun stuff. But hey, that was what set me. I really felt like God was using that whole time in my life. Again, I'm gonna link that video. I felt like God was using that whole time in my life to prepare me for the stage that I'm in now, which is financial coaching. If you're watching this and you're going through something really stressful, maybe you're struggling to eat like I was, maybe you're losing weight, maybe you're not sleeping well at night, maybe you're just sick and tired of living paycheck to paycheck, well, hey, you've reached out to the right place. This is what I do. I specialize in helping people get out of sticky situations just like what I was in, because I decided, hey, I hated being in that situation, so I don't want other people to be in that situation, because I just was so empathetic towards people who are just struggling financially. So with all that being said, what made me become a financial coach? Well, I had no idea that financial coaching was even a thing, to be honest. My wife and I went through Financial Peace University, and we decided, hey, we are going to live debt-free lives. We're never going to take on debt again. We're never going to have student loans. We're going to encourage our children not to take student loans. We're not going to borrow from family. We're not going to get credit cards. We're not going to have car payments. That's just not what we're going to do. We're going to live a free life, free of debt, free of payments. We do have a mortgage, but that's a healthy debt, and I'll definitely be explaining that in future videos if you want to stick around on my YouTube. But in this video, I really just wanted to kind of let you get to know me a little bit better. But I didn't know that financial coaching was a thing until one day I had gotten an email from Ramsey Solutions, because they knew that we had led Financial Peace University at our church, and we're like, okay, well, my wife was just a huge budgeting nerd. Really likes to be, she's actually, out of both of us, she's the biggest budgeter, and she really likes to stay on top of all that stuff, and she just wanted to know if there was maybe a side hustle or a passion that she could be pursuing that would just be fulfilling. So what we did is we found out you could get training to become a Dave Ramsey certified coach. So we found out it was cheaper if the both of us did it, and I was like, you know what, I love my wife, I'm going to support my wife, I'm going to do this with her, because what if I ended up liking it? Well, it turns out I ended up really liking coaching, and she didn't. So I started coaching people. I ended up hiring my own coach, because I'm a big believer in coaching after I learned what it was all about, just to help make sure that I'm being as effective and as efficient as possible as a coach and in our personal life with our money. And so, boy, we just hit the ground running, and man, it has been just so awesome being a financial coach. I have had client success stories after client success stories. On average, my client who does the 6-month program with me, which is one of my many programs, but that I typically assign a 6-month program for a lot of clients, but typically in that 6 months, they end up paying off anywhere from the minimum so far has been $5,000 all the way up to $15,000 just in 6 months. And it's just been so cool to see, and the relationships that I've been able to grow with these people has been awesome. So you might be watching this video and be asking, what exactly does a financial coach do? Which is a great question, because it's not a profession that's well known. A lot of people get it confused with financial advisor, and I'll clear that up real quick. A financial advisor takes your money now and looks at it and compares to where you want your money to be in the future. What we do as financial coaches is we take your money now and we make sure that the relationship is growing or getting healthier, and that your budget is accurate, and that you're really taking care of all your P's and Q's now, so that you're not getting burned later or getting stuck in that revolving door of just making payments just to get by. And so what the analogy I love to use with people when it comes to financial coaching is, I like to compare it to the fitness world, because I think there's a lot of similarities between fitness and personal finance. Well, if you look at any celebrity or famous celebrity or elite athlete, whatever it might be, they all do the same thing. They all hire personal trainers because they want to be in peak form, peak condition, and they want to hire somebody that has expertise in that area. That's what financial coaches do. We step in as basically personal trainers, and we have this one-on-one regimen where it's looking over your debt, looking over what needs to be prioritized, what doesn't need to be prioritized, how good is your budget, how well are you taking care of this, have you thought of this, have you thought of that, making sure that you're just well-rounded financially. Much like how a personal trainer would say, hey, how's your diet? Hey, you need to be doing this with your diet. Hey, your form is off. Hey, you need to go up in weight here. Hey, you need to focus more on this area, whatever it may be. And some of you that are going to be watching this are familiar with Financial Peace University, which we love and strongly encourage. But that is essentially like a group workout class that you go to on maybe like Saturday mornings, where there's one instructor and there's a bunch of people in there working out. While it's very good for you and very beneficial, nothing compares to the effectiveness of having one-on-one coaching, much like a personal trainer. So that's what we do. We take you and we make sure that we apply these principles, the baby step principles and the principles of personal finance, where we're taking care of all of our bases, and we make sure that you are being taken care of all the way across the board. The cool thing is we're a good financial coach likes to be really good at acclimating to who you are and where you're at. I've coached everything from doctors to single mothers who feel like they're barely getting by. So I have been all over the place. So it's just been awesome, because you just never know when it comes to money who feels like they're struggling, who feels like they're doing well. It just doesn't matter. There's just so many areas, and like I said before, I'm a big believer in coaching. I've hired my own coach. Any of the good coaches that I know hire their own coaches. And you might think that's weird, but the analogy we like to use with each other and new coaches is, hey, you need to get coaching, because if a doctor has something wrong with him and is sick, a doctor isn't just going to self-diagnose. A prideful doctor might do that, and it's not good for them. However, a good doctor who's having something wrong with them is going to go and see another doctor, right? Especially one that might a doctor that might specialize in the area where they're having issues. So, we're big believers in that, and then we think that coaching is it can be so good for you. But hey, if you have any questions, be sure to ask me. Send me a DM on Instagram. It's debt.free.mafia, or Facebook. It's @debtfreemafia. Leave me a comment, send me a message. You can even ask me here on this video. I'd love to talk with you about it. But hey, thank you so much for stopping by and listening and kind of hearing just a little bit about my story and why I became a financial coach. I really appreciate you, and I can't wait to speak to you soon, and I'm rooting for you. We'll see you later. Peace.